Memorial Day Surprise by Teresa Martin Golding, illustrated by Alexandra Artigas. Is it a really big surprise, Mama? Asked Marco. Oh, yes, said Mama. It is a very big surprise, but we must hurry. The parade will start soon. Marco held Mama's hand tightly and walked faster. Many people were leaving their porches of their brick row houses. Children skipped down the streets of the big apartment buildings. Abuelo, Marco's grandfather, lived there on the 5th floor, but Mama said there was no time to stop. What could be a surprise that would make Mama rush so? They always stopped to visit Abuelo. Marco watched the flags dancing in the breeze. What is Memory Day, Mama? He asked. Mama smiled. It is called Memorial Day, she said, but Memory Day is a good name too. It is a time to remember some people. Who, Mama? You will see, she said. Beep, beep. Two girls swooped past Marco, red and blue streamers fluttering from their bicycles and swished in the wind. Everyone was in a hurry to get to the parade. When they reached the avenue, Marco's eyes opened wide. All the stores where Mama liked to shop were closed. The sidewalks were crowded with people sitting on folding chairs and colorful blankets. Two boys were even sitting on top of a big blue mailbox. Marco heard someone calling his name. Look, Mama, he pointed across the wide avenue. Jenna is here too. Is this the surprise? No, Marco, Mama answered. The surprise is even more special than seeing your best friend at the parade. Marco sat on the curb with Jenna. The sun was hot on top of their heads. The big avenue seemed different without its zooming cars and rumbling trucks. It was like a rushing river that had run out of water. Marco jumped up. Did you hear that? He asked. The faint brump, bump, bump of a drum sounded in the distance. Marco held his breath as the band marched closer and stopped right in front of him. The leader slowly raised his baton, and the music burst in the air. Horns and drums and the clash of the cymbals. Marco stood very still. The music was inside him, alive and jumping in his chest. Boom! Boom! He felt the thunder in his stomach. Crash! Crash! It tingled down his arm. Batons flew in the air. Pom-poms swooshed, feet stomping in rhythm, and the band moved on. Marco wished Abuelo could have heard the music. Maybe it would have made his legs tingle again. Was that the surprise, Mama? Marco shouted. Was it? Was it? No, Marco, Mama said. The surprise is even more special than the marching band. A siren screaming, and Marco jumped up. A long red fire engine rolled down the avenue, its lights spinning and flashing. A firefighter walking behind the big engine. He stopped and shook Marco's hand. He gave Marco a little flag. Marco waved the flag and the noisy fire truck. Was that the surprise, Mama? Mama shook her head. No, Marco, the surprise is even more special than meeting real firefighters. And meeting real firefighters, now that is something special. Look, Jenna shouted. A truck was pulling a big float right down the street. It was the Statue of Liberty. A man with a dark beard stood in front of the statue with his tall hat and long face. He looked like Abraham Lincoln. Jenna frowned. "They are throwing things at people," she said. "That is not nice." "It's candy!" screamed Marco. Marco and Jenna dropped to the ground and scooped all the candy that fell at their feet. Yum, yum, yum. "Mama, look!" Marco opened his fist and showed her all the sweets he had collected. "That was a surprise, wasn't it?" "No, Marco," Mama said. "The surprise is even more special than catching candy at a parade." And catching candy at a parade, now, that is special, isn't it? Marco put a butterscotch in his pocket. He would give it to Abuelo when he told him all about the parade. What was happening? All the people stood up and began clapping. Marco could not see the clapping. There was no sirens, no band, and no falling candy. Still, the clapping became louder. Men and women in uniforms with shiny medals came marching down the avenue. Right up in front of Marco's grandfather, so that's his abuelo. Look at the lady veterans, and you have Navy and Air Force and Marines. "Abuelo!" Marco shouted and waved his hands. Why is your grandfather in the parade?" Jenna asked. Marco stood tall. "My grandfather is a hero." Abuelo put out his arms and Marco ran and climbed in his lap. "Happy Memorial Day, Marco," Abuelo said. Marco threw his arms around Abuelo's neck. "Happy Memory Day, Abuelo." He took the butterscotch out of his pocket and pressed it into his grandfather's warm hand. Marco did not need to ask Mama. He knew that this was the best Memory Day surprise of all. Getting to see his abuelo leading a parade for the veterans for Memorial Day. And we remember veterans on Memorial Day and all that they did to help serve and help our country.